Hello everyone, welcome to SecApps Learning. In today's video, we will discuss about the CyberArk components and the basic troubleshooting steps, and we'll be discussing about the mandatory components. Let's suppose if you are switching to CyberArk, or if you are a fresher and you want to make your career in CyberArk. So this video is for you. Please watch the video till the end, and after watching this video you will have an idea how to troubleshoot the issue also, because in the if you are working in the operation part in CyberArk, you need to troubleshoot related to CPM, PSM and PVWA and other components. So what are the basic troubleshooting steps we will discuss in today's video at the end of this video. So don't skip the video, and also if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe and also share with your friends. So let's start with the first the overview. So first of all, we will be discussing about the components of CyberArk, like the mandatory components. If you are working in on-premises or cloud or hybrid model or SaaS, so these are the mandatory components of CyberArk, and you should be good if you are good on those components, and if you are good in the basic, your fundamentals are clear and you are good with these five components, then you can easily learn the rest of the advanced components also. So the first component, and which is the main and you can say the critical server or critical component of CyberArk, is the digital vault, or you can say the enterprise vault or simply vault. It depends upon the company or how you are just pronouncing. Like it's the same, EPV or your digital vault or vault, all are same. So what is a vault? So vault you can relate to a bank locker where you keep your confidential or some jewelry, etc. kind of thing, and you just use your key, and bank manager will use his or her own key to secure that information. So similarly, you can relate with the bank's locker. This digital vault can be the same, where we have the different safes, different locker you can say, and all the information, your account's passwords. Let's suppose you are having an administrator account or root account. In your personal system, you will be having an administrator account. So that password you can store in the vault, and vault your that password will be secured. And CyberArk does have the inbuilt and some encryption mechanism, like it uses AES 256 RSA 2048 to encrypt your data. Let's suppose if your data is encrypted, and if someone just copied that data from this from the vault to their servers, they will not be able to decrypt that data without the keys. So it's very secure. And your account onboarding, you can onboard the different types of account, and you can store your passwords, and those passwords you can rotate, and there are lots of uh, functionalities digital vault has. So there are different components which we will discuss one by one. And there are like the segregation of duties. In CyberArk, segregation of duties means every component has its own functioning. There is no single installation. You need to install separate components for the separate functioning. Let's suppose for your vault is the critical server. All rest of the components, whether you have deployed in the cloud or on premises, you need to all the components will be communicating to vault only, and it uses 1858 port. And it does have the you can see these are the some features of your digital vault. It does have its firewall, the your encryption mechanism. Then there are lots of authentication methods supported. You can use the LDAP authentication, PKI authentication, SAML, Radius, etc. There are number of authentication methods you can use. And let's suppose if you want to develop your own authentication methods, Then you can also have your own authentication method. The customization is also supported by CyberArk. You can customize your own authentication method and you can just define in the CyberArk. Then we have the access control and your password and file encryption. Access control means, like, let's suppose there are 7 or 10 members in a team and you don't want to give the admin access to your to few of the members and only want to give the read only read access only. So in CyberArk, there is a role based access control. There are safes where you can just onboard the account, and on those safes you can give the permissions, like you can give the read only permission. That user will be able to only read that account, he can just see that account. And you can give the use permission, password change permission, and the updating the account or deleting the account. There are lots of permissions there on that particular safes. So let's suppose there are different teams. You have the Windows team, your Unix team, or firewall team. You can create different safes for the Windows and Unix team, and you can onboard the account in the Windows safe and just grant the access to the Windows team members only, so that your Unix team members cannot see the account of your Windows, and similarly Windows team cannot see the accounts of Unix team, vice versa. So that's how the role based access is. And you can also create some security groups. Let's suppose you have created a security groups in your Active Directory. You can map those security groups to the CyberArk safes, and when you will add some users to that security groups, automatically those users will get the access to CyberArk that safes where you have added that security groups. So there are different granular permissions you can give. You can manage the permission, your role based access, the encryption, segregation of duties, and geographical security, etc. There are lots of things your digital vault provides. That's why CyberArk is the leading in the PAM technology, and it does have the different mechanism. So if you are starting your career, so you should focus more on this digital vault. You should be knowing everything about the digital vault, or you can say the vault, because this is the main critical server. If you want to install on premises, this server should be installed on a physical server only. It shouldn't be installed in a virtual machine if you are installing on premises. And this server shouldn't be part of a domain. This server always remains in the workgroup. So there are several things. So first of all, if you are new to CyberArk, I would just recommend focus on the this critical server. This is the main server of CyberArk, main component of CyberArk. So let's proceed further to discuss about the services of the vault and its main configuration files. So there are different services we have, and for installing a DR, like if you are installing a DR, then you have a different service. So the main service of your vault are, like, it does have the event notification engine service, then your logic container, your private arc database, private arc server, remote control agent, and Windows, this hardened Windows firewall. So this is not the service of the CyberArk. So what CyberArk does, when you are installing the vault, and it does rename this Windows firewall. So this is a Windows service. So just rename it to CyberArk hardened Windows firewall, and it harden the machine, harden the your complete server. It will remove the unused ports, the services, and other unwanted files from the server to provide more security. And if you are installing the cluster vault, so there are different types of vault we have. One is the standalone vault, where you have the single server in your production, single server in secondary site, your disaster recovery site. And if you are installing the HA means high availability, which means your active and passive concept. If you are installing the HA in production, then there will be two servers, active and passive. So one of your active server will be down, automatically passive server will come online. So that's the concept of the HA vault. But I would say if you are new to CyberArk, just focus on the standalone vault first, because HA is, like you can say, somehow it's an advanced topic, and there are lots of configuration, and the while installing you need to do lots of configuration. And this is the CyberArk Vault Disaster Recovery Service. After installing the Vault server, you need to install the DR service, or you can say the Vault Disaster Recovery, because this service is being used to replicate the data from your production to DR or DR to production. Because when you are doing a failover, let's suppose when your production is down, automatically DR, your secondary site is coming active, is becoming live. So in that case, if you want to replicate the data, you need to use this service. So this service is being used to replicate the data, backup the data from production to DR or DR vault to production. So this is service gets installed when you are installing the DR, your DR setup, when you are running that DR setup. Okay, moving to next. These are the some main, you can say, the vault configuration files and the log files. So first of all, dbpalm.ini is the main configuration file for your vault. If you are making any changes, you need to restart your vault, and every configuration changes related to your key, your recovery key, your public key, your backup key, and your logs. If you want to increase the debug level, or if you want to integrate other application, let's suppose if you want to integrate the SIM tool, your Splunk, QRadar, etc. Or if you want to integrate your like radius, etc., you need to make the changes in your dbpalm.ini file only. So this is the main configuration file for your vault. And when you install the vault server, this file gets installed in the installation directory. You will see in the under conf folder, configuration folder, you will see dbpalm.ini file. Next is your tspalm.ini file. You will see the your backup, your saves data. Then in this tspalm.ini file, you will see the directory where your saves are located. Your saves are stored, because in your vault server, when you install it and after you create new saves, everything gets stored on the vault. So it's getting stored on the this path only. And next is your passpalm.ini file, which is the file. Let's suppose if you want to rotate the password, if you want to change the password of your inbuilt user of the vault, because there are many inbuilt users, your administrator, your master user, DR, backup, etc. There are lots of inbuilt user gets created when you install the vault. So if you want to change the password of those account, you need to follow this password complexity, which you can find in this file. This passpalm.ini file, you can find all the like password complexity, and you can also change. If you want, you can modify that, and you can just make it as per your requirement. ITL log. This is the main log file for your vault server. There are different files, different log files also, like your vault db log file. You have the for logic container, for your email notification engine, you have a different log files. But the main, I'm talking about the main configuration, main log file for your vault, which is the ITL log file. You can see every minute thing related to your CPM, your password, your PVWA, your PSM, your vault, etc. in the ITL log file. And this is the padr.log file, and this is basically for your DR vault. When you are installing the secondary site, your DR service on a server, the log file which you can refer for your Troubleshooting part. Let's suppose if you are troubleshooting something and you want to see the logs, which log file you need to refer. So for your troubleshooting the issues related to Vault server, you can refer this file, this log file. This is the main log file, itlog.log. And to troubleshoot the issues related to your DR Vault this is the main log file. You can see if the replication is happening or not, or what's the issue. If your DR service is not running, you can see in this file, padr.log. So this is the main log file for your DR. Second important, or you can say the critical server or critical component of CyberArk is PVWA. PVWA is a password vault web access. You can say it's a web interface which is used to connect to the connect to the vault server. You while after installing the PVWA, you will have a URL. Let's suppose you are having a URL google.com something, or cyberark.com something. So you need to enter that URL and you will get a prompt. You need to log in with the different authentication methods. You have CyberArk authentication or LDAP or SAML or Radius, etc. And then you just logged into that interface and you can carry out the operations. So using PVWA, you can onboard the account, you can create the master policies, platform management, delete accounts, etc. So most of the operation you can perform using the PVWA, your web interface. And the main configuration file for your web interface is your PVWA is this web.config file. Though there are different configuration files are also there, SAML config, and in your IS, because to install the PVW server you need to install the prerequisites, which is your web server. IIS you need to install on the PVW server before installing this CyberArk component. So this is the inet pub. You will find other configuration file, but this is the main configuration file for your PVWA. You can say web.config. If you want to see, let's suppose if you want to do the load balancing, if you want to load balance your PVWA, you need to edit this file web.config. You need to provide the configuration of your load balancer, this client address. You need to make the changes in your web.config only. You need to reduce or increase this PSM connection timeout. You need to edit this file only. So this is the main configuration file of your PVWA. After making the changes, you need to reset the IS. You need to restart the web server services so that those changes can be applied. Okay, moving to next. There are no PVWA services. If I talk about only after installing the PVWA, your CyberArk schedule task gets created, and your IS service. It's not the PVWA service, because after installing the IS on that server, you will have these services, your web server services, because your PVWA URL is hosted on this web server only. So this is the this IS service is not the service of your PVWA, but in the troubleshooting part, if your let's suppose your PVWA is not working, your URL is not loading, so you can check these services. Your IS services you can check and you can find out if those services are running or not. If not running, you can start those services, because your PVWA need a web server to load the URL, and that is provided by your Microsoft IIS service. IIS you can say, or a web server. Okay, moving to next. So these are the some log files and your some the configuration of your PVWA. So if you are troubleshooting issues related to PVWA, you always need to go to this path, the C Windows temp PVWA, and you can check these logs. So these are the main logs file for your PVWA. So always, if your PVWA is not loading or you are having some issues, every your activity gets recorded in this path. In C, Windows, Temp, and PVWA, you will see all these logs, and you can troubleshoot the issues. You can also see the old log also, and these are the old logs and the services related logs. So you can just find out under these paths. So to troubleshoot the issues also, you must know which logs you need to refer. Let's suppose if your PVWA URL is not loading, you are not able to load that URL or getting some error. So you can always check these logs. The first, C, Windows 10 PVWA. So if you will check these logs, you will get every minute thing about your PVWA, why it's not loading or what's the issue. So these logs you can always check: web application, console, etc. Okay, moving to next. This is also one of the important and the mandatory component of CyberArk, Central Policy Manager, or you can say CPM. And this component is used to rotate the password of an account. If you are onboarding the account in CyberArk, uh, let's suppose if you have onboarded the administrator or root account in CyberArk, so CPM can just change the password of that account automatically also, and you can also set the policy manual also. If you don't want to rotate the password of that account automatically, you can just have the manual policy. In the manual policy, CPM will not rotate the password automatically. You just need to click on the change or reconcile option to rotate that password, to change that password. So in simple terms, CPM, you can say it's a component of CyberArk which is used to rotate the password of an account or verify the password. And there are some other tasks also CPM can perform, like using the CPM scanner service. The auto discovery can be run, like auto discovery is run, which is used to scan your domain, scan your OU, organizational units, so that you can just find out how many non-privileged and privileged accounts are there in your environment. So and CPM, using the CPM also you can run that auto detection, which is used, or which is again used to onboard your workstation or your laptop or your desktop accounts automatically in CyberArk. Okay, so these are the two services of the CyberArk. First service is your Central Policy Manager Scanner service, which is used to connect to your PVWA, your web interface, to run that auto discovery. And that's if you are not using the auto discovery, you can stop this service, see this scanner service, because this is being only used to run that account discovery, that discovery, auto discovery. And next is your, this is the main service of the CPM center, this password manager service, which is used to rotate the password of an account, verify or reconcile or change, etc. So this service should be running if you want to change the password of an account. Okay, these are the log files, and I get lots of comments and mails also. Like, let's suppose, sir, if we are getting some issues related to CPM, if CPM is not able to change the password, how we can troubleshoot and which log file we can refer. So there are different log files available for your CPM to troubleshoot. Like, let's suppose if you are getting some issue related to your scanner service or your auto discovery, you can check this CACPM scanner log. So this is the main log file for your scanner service, and your discovery related error also you will find under this CPM scanner service. And if you are getting some error, let's suppose if you are changing the password of an account and if you are getting some error, so always check these files, your PM error and this log file also. These log file you can check, all the four log files you can check, and you can find out if what's the issue. And there are different log files also, your third party logs and your archive and different logs. But always refer these log file if you are having some issues, if your CPM is not able to change the password of an account, etc. And if it's a third party, then you can also check the third party logs, which is there on your CPM installation directory only. This is the API key. If your when your CPM is communicating to PVWA, and if it's not able to communicate using the API, so you can just find out the logs in this API key manager.log. Okay, and these are the some main configuration file. If you want to change the password of an account, so there are some configuration file .ini file, your process and prompt file, which you can find under this bin folder. Under this bin folder, you will find your all the CPM related main configuration, which are used to rotate the password, which are used by CPM to connect to target server remotely and change the password. And this is the main configuration file for your scanner service, CACPM scanner.exe. And vault.ini is the like every component has this file, and this file you will find your vault address, your digital vault address, because all your components communicate to vault only, because vault is the king, you can say, and all your every data is getting stored on that vault only. That's why your component needs to communicate to the vault and get the data from vault. Okay, this is the fourth main component of CyberArk, and first we discuss about the digital vault, PVWA, CPM, and PSM. The installation, if you want to install the your vault and other component, the installation should be in the same sequence only. Like first you need to install the digital vault, then you need to install the PVWA, then CPM, and then PSM. So installation of your the sequence is also same, in the same sequence which we are discussing. Okay, so this is the fourth main component of CyberArk, and this component is Privileged Session Manager, or you can say PSM, which is used to connect to the target server. If you want to connect to a target server, connecting means let's suppose you have a username and password and of a target server, so you are connecting to that target server using the RDP protocol, or if you are connecting to a Unix, you have the SSH connection. So let's suppose connection means, if let's suppose you are logging to your Gmail account, you are providing username and password, so that you are providing manually. But using the PSM, you can connect. You just need to onboard that account in CyberArk, and there is a connect button. You need to log into PVWA, and if you will click on that connect button, it will connect to the target server. But that account should be onboarded in CyberArk, and that connection is built using the PSM only. So PSM, in simple terms, you can say it is used to establish the connection, whether it's a Windows or database, Unix, website, etc. So there is only one service of the PSM, which is the CyberArk Privileged Session Manager. And troubleshooting also, if you want to troubleshoot the issues, always make sure your PSM service is running. If the issue is related to your PSM, if you are not able to connect to the target server, you always make sure your PSM service is running. These are the some log files and the configuration file of your PSM server. If you want to troubleshoot the issue related to the PSM, you need to check these logs, your PSM console and the trace logs. So check the both, because you will see the errors detail, like why your PSM is not able to connect to the target server. So always make sure you are checking these logs, because you must know about the log files, then only you will be able to troubleshoot the issue. If you don't know what are the services, what are the log files of the component, how you will troubleshoot that issue. So you should have a background of that component. You should have a good idea about it. Then only you will be able to troubleshoot that issue. Okay. So these are the some configuration file, the main configuration file for your PSM. So main configuration, if I talk about, is the basic underscore psm.ini file, which is the main configuration file. And if you want, if you will find your this PSM connect, admin connect ID, and if you want to define the external storage, then you need to make the changes in the basic psm.ini file only. And rest of the main configuration file you will find under this main installation directory of your PSM, which is under components. And these are your some hardening and the components, users of your PSM. So here you will find the your PSM app user, gateway user, your API gateway user, and vault.ini file. Vault.ini file, as I said before, it's the on every component you will find the vault.ini file where you will have the your digital vault IP, so that your PSM or other component can just reach out to the vault for the if there are some policies changes, or because your components keep scanning on the vault, they keep checking if there are new policies there on the vault. So they just need to have the reference, like how they will communicate to the vault. So they are using this vault.ini file for the reference, because it does have the IP address of your production vault. This is the main, the last component, the mandatory. I am just talking about the mandatory components. In the if you are working in a small environment of CyberArk, or the medium or large or very large, you will find these components, because these components are mandatory one. Your this vault or production vault, you can say your PVWA, your CPM, PSM, and DR vault. These are the mandatory components. Rest of the components are optional one. Your credential provider, PTA, OPM, EPM, etc. These are the optional component. But the components which we have discussed so far, these are the mandatory one. So what is a DR vault? DR vault, you can say it's a disaster recovery, or the secondary side, or a backup or standby vault. Why we are having a standby vault? Because we always need to have a backup. Let's suppose your production vault is down. So how your users will communicate to like connect to their machines, because every password will be stored in the CyberArk only. So in that case, you have a DR vault, or your secondary site. So when your production is down due to any reason, you can use this DR vault as a backup. So there will be no user impact. So every application, whether it's CyberArk or Beyond Trust or any application, always we should have a backup, a DR vault, so that if in a disaster scenario, in a critical situation, you always have a backup to, so that your users are not impacted. So this is the main service of your DR, which we have already discussed in starting. So again, so this, if you are installing the DR setup, because DR setup is completely different, you need to install a DR, and then that service will be your vault disaster recovery, or you can say a DR service. So first you need to install the Vault server only, then you need to install PrivateArk client, and then you can install your DR if you want to make that server as a disaster recovery or a standby server. These are the some configuration and the log files. So first of all, the log file, as we discussed earlier. So main log file for your DR is padr.log file. If you want to troubleshoot the issues related to the DR vault, you need to make sure everything is fine in the padr log. You can check the logs, what's the error, why your DR service is not running, what's the issue. And you have the archive logs. means like the all logs you can also check. So this is the path, and it will be your installation directory, like where you are installing in the C drive, D drive, E drive. So there only you will see this. And these are the main configuration file. So the main configuration is the padr.ini file. In the padr.ini file, you will see your configuration related to the automatic failover, manual failover, and the replicate interval, your database sync, etc. And your DR service refer this padr.ini file to replicate the data from production to the DR. And if you want to have the automatic and the manual failover, you need to make the changes in the padr.ini file only. So this file only you need to make the changes. padr.ini. So we have discussed about the services and the log files. You must know about these services and the log files. Then only you will be able to troubleshoot the issues. Otherwise, if you don't have any idea related to that component, and how you will troubleshoot that issue. So please focus on these components first. Try to learn about the services and the main log files for every component, and then just refer those log files to troubleshoot the issues. And always you can also check the event logs also, because your most of the components of CyberArk are based on Windows. So you can always make sure check the OS level logs. Your event logs you can check, and you can find out what's the issue. In the event log also you will see the issues, why your CPM service is not starting, or why it's not able to change the password, or any certificate issue, or etc. Anything. Okay. Next important thing is your basic troubleshooting steps. So please be vigilant, and this topic is very important, because I used to get lots of comment and the mails also, like how they you can troubleshoot, and what are the basic troubleshooting steps you need to follow. So first of all, you always need to have the overview, which we have discussed till now, overview of every component. Because if you want to troubleshoot the issue related to your vault, you must know which log file you need to refer, and which service you need to check. So these are the some basic or common troubleshooting steps. Always you should have the overview of every component. Then you can just check the logs, and you can find out what's the root cause, why this error is coming. And always try to read the error, because after reading the error also you can just get it what could be the issue. So read the error twice, thrice, 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, until you are not getting. Read that error, keep reading on that error, because I have seen people, after reading the error they just get panic, and they will start searching somewhere. They will start calling their friends, like, I'm getting this issue, can you help? So please read that error. You can easily troubleshoot. This is not a rocket science. You can easily troubleshoot the issues. For that you should be good at the basics. If you know the product, if you know the components, then you can easily troubleshoot the issue. Please don't directly jump to the interview question. I know these, uh, like in past few years, CyberArk is on boom, and many people are directly want to switch to CyberArk without knowing the product. So if let's suppose if somehow you clear the interview, but when you will start getting the project and start getting the work, you will not be able to do that, and that will create a bad impression, and you can also lose your job also. So please learn the product, and whether it's any product, CyberArk, SailPoint, or Okta, or any Beyond Trust, etc. Any technology, please learn that technology. Then just start appearing for the interview. Okay. So what are the basic troubleshooting steps you need to follow? Always make sure you first of all have the overview idea of that component. You should always check if the services are running or not and the ports are opened or not. You must know which ports is being used. Let's suppose your CPM is not able to change the password of an account. It's a Windows account. So how you will troubleshoot the issue? So you can check the services if the CPM services are running or not, and after getting the logs also. So when you are just clicking on the change or reconcile or verify, if you will get an error. So in the activities also, in the account details in your PVWA itself, you will find the activities, your log files. So you don't need to go to your CPM server also to check the log file. So you can find out what's the root cause, why CPM is not able to change the password. But still, if you are not getting the issue, then you can check the log file. You can log into the CPM server and you can check the PM error and PM log file. What's the root cause, why CPM is not able to change the password. So the basic troubleshoot, or you can say the thumb rule, is first of all check the services. Always start from the basic, because I've seen those scenarios where the CPM service was not running, and we did lots of you can say the hard troubleshooting for that particular account. Changes the group policy, the port, the firewall communication, making Windows registry changes, but we didn't check the service was not running. So always start from the basic. Check the CPM service is not if it's not running, restart the service and just check start that service. Then check if your that target server is up or not. Sometimes what happen that server is shut down, or it's not reachable, or it's outside your company's domain, company's network, and your CPM is not able to reach to that server. So check that, and also check the port. Your firewall communication is open or not. Your CPM can only communicate to that target server if the firewall communication between your CPM and that target server is open. Then only you can communicate. Your CPM can communicate. So check that firewall communication. And then if still the issue is not resolved, check the logs, increase the debug level. So you can increase the debug level for CPM. Let's suppose you have onboarded a Windows account to a Windows platform. So in the Windows platform also you can increase, you can just make that debug level yes, so that you can start getting the debug level for that particular platform only, particular account only, not for other accounts. And you can log into the CPM server and check the those debug logs, so that you can find out what's the root cause. Always try to read that error. So these are the some basic troubleshooting only, not it's not a rocket science. Like if someone is resolving the address, he's doing something extraordinary. No, everyone is following the same what you can say the basic. Because if, like, let's suppose if a person is working more than 5 years in the CyberArk, so he's used to, he knows everything about CyberArk, so that he's able to like troubleshoot any issues if it's the common issue. But if you are new to CyberArk, you must have the good knowledge about the product, about the overview of the component, where to look for which services for which component, what's the functioning of the component. Then only you will be able to troubleshoot the issue. Okay, so these are the because in the production you will get the most of the error for CPM only. CPM is not able to change the password, verify, incorrect username or password complexity, ports are not open, and your process and prompt file prompt your CPM doesn't get the prompt, or it's taking long. Your CPM services like on hung state. Sometime what happen, your CPM services gets hung due to the performance issue. So you can also check. So these are the only basic troubleshooting issues. You always check your CPM service is running or not, your firewall communication, that server is live or not, and if your change is failing or your reconcile is failing, you can always check if that account has the permission to rotate the password or not, and if any group policy. Like sometimes what happens, the issue is not with the CyberArk. Issue is originating from the target server. Your target server is not allowing to CPM to change the password, because let's suppose in target server there is a policy on your Windows target server domain, target server, like in a single day you can only change the password in only one time, like only once you can change the password in 24 hours. So that's the policy. If let's suppose CPM is trying to change the password twice or thrice in a same day, the CPM will get an error, because on the target server there is a policy which will not accept the second password in 24 hours. So after 24 hours, if you will try to change the password, it will be changed, because that is due to that policy. So you can always check that group policy also. You can find out like which policy is getting this issue. So you can just do a Google also, like which policy can be referred to check this password complexity or this minimum age days or etc. So because sometimes the issue is coming from the target server, not from the CyberArk. So you need to check that also. And same related to PSM also. The thumb rule is always check the services, the ports, your firewall communication, that server is live or not, and that account exists. Sometimes the server is decommissioned, so account also gets removed. So in that scenario you will not see your PSM is able to connect to that target server, because account is deleted or account is disabled. Always make sure your account is active and your PSM service are running fine and firewall communication is happening. And if your PSM is in a load balancer, let's discuss one scenario. uh, you are connecting to a target server and you are getting an error, and you have 5 PSM server in your environment. So how you will find out which PSM is having the issue? Because this issue is not, this can be cannot be with the all the PSM. The issue can be one with one or two PSM. So how you will find out like which PSM is having the issue? So you need to go to the monitoring tab and you can search for the same account, and in the advanced section you will find out from which PSM the connection was established, so that you can troubleshoot on that single PSM only in a load balancer environment, because it's not the case every PSM is having the issue. So that's the basic troubleshooting steps, and always focus on your component first. What are the uh, overview of the component, the services, the log files, main configuration files, and try to read the error 5 times, 10 times, 15 times, 100 times. I'm saying, read that error. You will get it. Definitely, you will get it. It's not a rocket science. Again, I'm saying. So that you can troubleshoot the issue. So these are the only basic troubleshooting steps. There is no extraordinary thing. Always start from these troubleshooting, these basic troubleshooting. If still you are not able to troubleshoot, then only raise a case to CyberArk support, or just check on the CyberArk community portal. Check some article if there are some article available in CyberArk community portal, or raise a case to CyberArk support. They will help you out for sure. But before doing that, always uh, do the troubleshooting at your end, because you will learn with that. If you are doing the troubleshooting, and you will learn a lot. So that's the only thing about the troubleshooting and the basic components overview. So please watch this video till the end and don't skip anything, because everything is important. If you are new to CyberArk, or if you don't know how to troubleshoot the CPM or PSM or any component, it's not about the CPM PSM. If you are having issue related to PVWA, your vault or your AIM or any component, focus on the product first or your component first. Check the services, log files and the communication, because every your product needs a every your component needs a port to be opened to communicate to that particular application. So always check the logs. You will find out where it's getting stuck. Then only you can just troubleshoot the issue. So please subscribe to this channel and share with your friends also. This is like you can just informative knowledge you can transfer to your friends or who want to start their career in CyberArk. So this will help them a lot. So thank you guys for watching and have a good day. Thank you. And if you have any doubt, please comment below or reach out to on my mail address. So we'll discuss about the this your error or anything you want to discuss. So thank you guys for watching again and have a good day.